We learned a number of things, that not everybody who sees a UFO is crazy, that our government has lied about UFO information, that it's withheld UFO files, and even spied on UFO witnesses. We've also heard from scientists who say life elsewhere in the universe is virtually a certainty. And we heard that a majority of Americans believe that UFOs are real and come from space. Tonight, in part 5 of his report, George Knapp introduces us to a local man with an amazing and disturbing story. George.
Gary and Mary Ruth, we've been working on this story for a long time, and we'll tell you right up front that it's going to be hard to swallow at first. This week, we've heard the contention of UFO researchers that there's a secret government within our government. While that may be hard to believe coming from the UFO perspective, we've certainly learned in Watergate and the Iran-Contra scandal that factions within our government can and do pursue their own hidden agendas outside of the law, outside the control of Congress, or the knowledge of the American people. This is exactly the type of operation we'll hear about tonight. It's a chilling scenario with worldwide implications that may have its roots right here. Area 51, that mysterious corner of the Nevada test site, is no longer much of a secret. The fact that secretive things go on here is a given, even to the Soviets, who make daily spy flights over the facility to take a peek at what's going on. These photos, never before shown in public,
photos were given to him by John Lear. John Lear took these photos before they had perimeter security at Area 51. He walked right down to the lake.
Corrugated metal buildings, a 3-mile-long runway, and some highly sophisticated radar and detection equipment. It's been known by many names over the years: Dreamland, the Ranch, the Skunk Works. If ever there was a place to test a secret new technology, this is it. And that's exactly what's been done here for decades. Area 51 is where Francis Gary Powers and the other U-2 pilots were trained in the 50s, and where the U-2 itself was developed. The SR-71 spy planes that spotted Soviet missiles in Cuba in the early 60s were also developed at 51. 51 is where stealth technology was nurtured, where Star Wars devices are still tested, and where all manner of CIA monkey business has been plotted and refined. It's the perfect place for secret things, but of course, that's no secret. 51 is ringed by the forbidden vastness of the Nevada test site, by the looming Groom Mountains, and by sparsely populated desert expanses. The few people who do live out here have no love lost for the military, but they're conservative, patriotic, and they mind their own business. You ever see stuff you can't explain?
Sure. Lots of stuff.
Care to elaborate?
No.
Happy anniversary to you.
On any given night at the Rachel Bar and Grill, you might find 3 or 4 people who work at Area 51, there amid the flowing Budweisers and cowboy hats. You might find them, but they aren't going to talk to you, not about the things they've seen over the mountains. A steady trickle of curiosity seekers flows through here, strangers drawn by strange stories of lights in the night sky. Their questions also go unanswered. No one who's worked at Dreamland has ever publicly acknowledged what so many people have suspected for years, that alien technology is being tested in the Nevada desert. The speculation first surfaced in documents obtained by UFO researchers, documents about something called Project Aquarius. The documents allegedly prepared for an organization
Project
called
Aquarius, blah, 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 blah. This is where it starts to get stupid. But anyways, that was the old George Knapp. He's still got a whole bunch of the old interviews up on Mystery Wire. Who's calling me now? Hello?
Thank you for choosing Marriott Hotels.
Marriott Hotels. No, I thought it was maybe somebody, but it was a telemarketer. Hey, so Mystery Wire. Boom. You can go on here and find all the old, if you go and search for John Lear, you could find all the old John Lear stuff. Because he was interviewing John Lear on Mystery Wire long before Bob Lazar came around, and a lot of the stuff that John Lear was telling him was later, stuff Bob Lazar, confirmed for him. But in any case, I don't know. Dan Benkert was supposed to be my guest today. He's like, everyone thinks I did all this research into Bob. Most of the stuff that I did was really just tracing back the source evidence for the element 115, and you can go on. So we're going to talk about Eric Davis in a little bit. I updated Bob Lazar debunk.com, and I'm still going through and editing stuff because I moved a bunch of stuff around, so stuff's on here twice, and there's some stuff that still needs to be edited and changed around. So I've got my work ahead of me and cut out for me there. But just a quick overview of the case. Most of the stuff came from Dan Benkert, who is supposed to be my guest tonight. He's the real expert on this case. He could walk through it with his eyes closed. Dan was on the show earlier this week, and a lot of people were complaining about his negativity and his negative outlook on life. And Dan, I hope you're okay, man, because he was having some difficulty focusing on the case earlier when I spoke with him. I told him to go meditate, relax, get his head straight, and then try to join us for this so we could get through this. But I don't know. Dan's not answering his phone. Yeah, he hasn't been picking up his phone for the past hour. I've been trying to message him every way I can get a hold of him, and I haven't been able to get a hold of Dan, who I put this time slot aside for all week. It's like people wonder why I don't have guests and stuff. I don't do guests often. I try to schedule stuff with people, and my schedule has had changes and stuff like this happen, but I don't know. I can't really blame Dan. He's going through a tough time with everything there's way too much shit going on in the world right now with everything that's happening for him to really focus on this and try to knock this case out and do it justice. So Dan, I guess, took the night off, and so I think we're going to take the night off from Bob Lazar, not really do a deep dive on this case, and instead talk about some other things. Because I'm sorry to the audience who came here for the Bob Lazar stuff, but it's just Dan was supposed to be the main guy. He's the guy that did. I met Dan through I met him through Edgar Fouché, who was one of the people on my old forum. I met Edgar Fouché through a YouTuber named Ella McCoy on YouTube, and his name's actually Edgar Albert Fouché, not Edgar Rothschild Fouché. But you really can't find much stuff on Ed anymore. It's really all been scrubbed from the internet. You can find tons of stuff on Bob, not just the old stuff, but a lot of the newer stuff and Jeremy Corbell's stuff. By the way, Jeremy Corbell made an interesting comment. Where did he posted recently on Facebook and Twitter, said some interesting things. Where's the quote? I can't even find it now. But anyways, Corbell is basically saying that he had his Element 115, but he can't produce this Element 115. He literally claims he has some piece of Element 115 from Bob Lazar, so he literally could end disclosure overnight, but he won't produce it. Meanwhile, he gets a huge audience of people following him, and I'm stuck in Shadowban land because I don't believe Lazar. Neither does Eric W. Davis. Eric Davis testified that Bob Lazar made up his entire cockamamie story about the UFOs and building inside a building at Area 51 or S4. And that's what Eric Davis said. Of course, this quotes Eric Davis as saying is a building inside Area 51. And if you do your research, Bob Lazar states emphatically that there's no alien or UFO stuff inside Area 51. All that's at a special facility outside Area 51 called S4, which is in the desert. In any case, we got some pictures of S4 recently. Let me bring those up and show those for the audience, because those are, I think, the most stunning. So we got some new pictures of Area 51. There's that satellite tower thing that this is the mailbox road that John Lear drove in on. He got all the way up to the base, like right around here, and took those photos that you could see in that clip we showed earlier, right from this angle in this direction over the base, over the runway. So this is Papoose Lake. This is way to the south. This is looking north down, this is from the north looking south, down at the hilly section next to Papoose Lake, where Bob Lazar did claim that, where is it? There's the drawings. So these are drawings based on Bob Lazar's description of the hangars. So there was these big mountains with these cliffs in the background, and right inside the side of the mountain were these hangar doors that sort of opened up. It kind of shows a low-profile hill low to the ground. I still have a lot of questions for Dan. I'd like to, ask him, but unfortunately he's not here. See, it is like this lower hill with these, bigger cliffs in the background. But again, these are pretty high def photos, and the fact that they let this pilot in this area to take these photos, and then that these photos, I mean, again, if it was some sort of invisibility thing that existed back in the 80s, I don't think they really had the material science and the technologies as we've done a lot of research into invisibility and cloaking technology. Of course, you never know what the government has, but I really don't think that their stuff was that advanced from the research that I've done. But anyways, we'll get to, I want to get to Eric Davis, because Eric Davis is an interesting guy. I don't know, do you guys want to discuss? You want to keep discussing? All right, I just want to ask, do people want to keep me on S4 and Eric and then this stuff, or do you want to get into like real Area 51? Like, what is it? Bill Uhouse. Not really a big fan of Bill Uhouse, but this isotope. So I did some research. Yeah, let's talk about a little bit. I'm gonna get back because we did get everyone in here to talk about Lazar. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Lazar and this isotope. And why don't I bring up the article? So I was doing research into trying to figure out who was talking about super heavy elements in element 115, and who were the scientists and who were the researchers that were working on this particular science. Because that's kind of like what I do. I do like scientific intelligence. I started out reading Richard Feynman's books and learning about, the classified physics research at Los Alamos. And I've always been interested in tracing back classified history of physics projects. That's kind of like what I'm most interested and fascinated by, is how classified physics research is done. And so when obviously the Bob Lazar case was super interesting to me with the claims that were being made. And so I began to dig into the scientific disclosures in the case, the element 115 stuff. Where did he get this intelligence? Where did he get this information from? And it led me in my research to this May 1989 issue of Scientific American magazine, to which I purchased the entire copy of the whole magazine. I purchased the entire issue of this from Scientific American. You can go on Scientific American and purchase this. I think I bought it for $14, just so I could do the research and find this thing, because this was mind you, May 1989 was the exact year that Bob Lazar came out as Bob Lazar dentist video. Right, so you look up Bob Lazar dentist video. You have to go on YouTube. So the UFO legend Bob Lazar. So the first video was him in 1989, and he went on George Knapp as Dennis, and he blocked out his face and his he was in the dark or whatever, and they claimed his name was Dennis, and then he later claimed his supervisor's name was Dennis Mariani. Of course, the Mariani we think he borrowed from the famous Mariana UFO case. But anyways, this was him in May 1989. He comes forward, says that he worked out on the base and can't say much about it and stuff, right? So he's kind of like still putting this story together, I think, at this point. He had said nothing about element 115 and told nothing about the element 115 stuff until October 1989, a couple months after this. So it's interesting that in the middle of that time, he could have gone and found this article, and found this article on element 115, which all the information's right here. It talks about, there's the island of stability right here in the article. Talks about this island of stability right around element 114 and 115. Says that, he's hunting for that. I have a 1982 paper that I also found. So if you go through on the research on this guy, right? So super heavy atoms and nuclei. So the authors of this article right here are Peter Armbruster. Where is it? Yeah, see, Peter Armbruster and Gottfried Munzenberg. And these are two German physicists. They worked at particle accelerators in CERN and in Germany. they are responsive. If you look up their, Peter Armbruster, he's born July 1931. He's a German physicist. He's got to be in his 90s now. Holy Christ. And he's credited with co-discovering elements 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, and 112 with his research partner Gottfried Munzenberg, who he wrote this Scientific American article with. So these are the physicists who are researching super heavy elements and doing all of the super heavy element research at the time. And so we have all that information, and that's the research that I have done into this. Dan Benkert is more in the UFO. He's more of a UFO researcher and a human intelligence researcher. He's really done the time, like gone through the Bob Lazar case in a lot of detail. And there's a lot of others who I can credit to as doing a lot of great research. Stanton Friedman, for example, are just archiving the documents related to the case, and of course Tom Mahood. Where's Tom Mahood's website here? I know it's on here. Okay, so it's on the links in the description, and you can find it right here. The Bob Lazar timeline. So the Bob Lazar timeline on otherhand.org, which is Tom Mahood's website, is absolutely key for doing your research into this. And Dan is here. He had to friggin' eat, and I'm bringing him on now, man. Oh my God. Dan, hey, thanks for joining us, Dan. I thought you like gave up on life in general the way you were talking earlier, man.
No, I had to cook something. I left the phone upstairs, and you originally said 8:00, so I was, I'm not late. It's just that, and giving up in life in general, yeah.
I thought you drove your bike into a tree, man. I'm like, no.
No, I had to eat, dude. I was absolutely starving. I haven't eaten since yesterday, so.
You don't got the corona, do you?
Also, my other, I was doing a live stream earlier with somebody else, and my my other headphones broke right in half, and so I had to come up with an alternate pair of headphones at the last minute too. So. I guess everybody can hear me. My camera doesn't work, as you know. That crapped out yesterday, I think it was. So,
right on. So there's also, I found this from 1982 that people can look up. I'm going to post this in the links in the description. I just want to finish the thought I was on before I brought you in.
Just keep going on about the science and all that.
Right. So I looked up this Gottfried and Munzberg and Peter Armbruster guys, and they were talking about element 115 and the valley and islands of stability since 1982. I found papers of them talking about this. So it's, I don't know, the lies that have been spread by Jeremy Corbell and others saying that Bob discovered element 115 and that he was he predicted it and all this nonsense. It's, you go through the scientific literature, and he stole everything from a paper that was published the same year he came forward with his story. And these are the two scientists who really knew him. This guy's 90. He's still alive, man. I've been trying to get his email or find some way to get in touch with him. He's like retired now, He was working for GSI Helmholtz and Schwartz. I can't even pronounce these words, but it's called GSI over in Germany, and this is the company that he was working for last I heard. And so I went and tried to find more information on that, and I couldn't. But it would be nice to get a hold of him, and if Bob Lazar really made any discoveries in element 115, then he should be then he should be well known by these guys in these academic circles, regardless if the government wiped his paperwork and destroyed all evidence of that. If you know what I mean. So, anyways, that's the science end of element 115, and of course, I could be wrong, man. There could be a stable isotope of element 115 somewhere way up there, and if that comes and gets created, there's also ways to increase stability using electromagnetic fields and certain types of confinement. So if you can confine an unstable element in the right way, you can prevent it from decaying. So there might be actually ways to create really super heavy elements and keep them stable. So I hold out on the science end of that stuff, but I will say that what was going on in 1989 was nothing even similar to what some of these people are reporting, But any case, I could be wrong, and if they come out tomorrow and they find a stable isotope of element 115, obviously, if they created this 30 years ago in a lab, we should be able to create it with the particle accelerators and the technology that we have today pretty easily. So if someone does that tomorrow and they have this stuff, then I'll be like, yay, we have anti-gravity, and I'll be wrong, and that would be awesome. But I'm not holding my breath. All right, Dan, why don't you want to start at the whole beginning of the Bob Lazar story, and we'll just go through it? Or how do you want to do this? Do you want to just start his biography and talk about year to year? Just go year to year chronologically through?
Why don't we just go over the site, you know what I mean? And go from there. If we go too deep into the biography, we'll be here for 4 hours and we'll put people to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. That's
you know
true.
What I mean?
The important parts is,
I would like to show what we have, what's up that's new, like the pictures, the S4
I got to
pictures.
get those S4 pictures because I have much higher definition versions than the ones it's displaying on the website right here.
You should be able to zoom in forever.
Yeah.
You want me to send you the link to the
yeah, why don't you
what
send
it is? It's a Google. You can zoom into that forever. It's a Google shared account. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, I'm going on BobLazarDebunk.com right now. These photos, I can't click on them. These should be able to zoom in forever. These are like super high def images.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to give you the ones to zoom in on. Hang on.
All right, I'm going to post those up right now.
They just prove that there ain't anything there, and it doesn't match up anything to what he showed picture-wise, because the dry lake beds don't meet the...
I also want to post a link to that video you sent me with the whole Jerry Friedman story. I guess some guy went and did a whole video on it.
Yeah. Where can I send this link to, by the way? It's just so weird.
Just post it right in the live stream. Are you in the live stream? If you do load it up...
Yeah.
If you do load it up, just make sure you mute the video and stuff. So
I just sent it in there.
Yeah, there's no papers on it, right, Dr. Hongo? It's strange. It's like if that particular element had this effect on gravity but not the others, then there should be something related. There should be something else that documented in the literature, but there is nothing. The other thing that's interesting,
Jeremy, I'm going to tell you which pictures to go to because I pretty much have it memorized.
Yeah.
Which ones? Because we've never ever had a picture of Area 50, or we've never had a picture of Papoose Lake from north to south, and the picture, which would be in the edits, you have 3 different folders. There's one to the very right called edits, and you have a picture named 0515.
So these are in your folder. These are all.
No, these are in the actual folder I got from the pilot. These you'll be able to zoom in on real nicely.
These are real nice, dude.
And you zoom in on that hill there, and right there is S4. I have the ones in my folder, but
what's this radar? What's this microwave radar dome and these other receivers up on this hill? The first picture
zoom
there.
In. Yeah, that's the top of Bald Mountain, or that's between. That might be at the top of Papoose Mountains, which is the Papoose Range is between Area 51 and north of Papoose Lake.
Jeez, that is some.
But I think that's the top of Bald Mountain. I can't believe the guy was able to fly in there, but
that's some really rough terrain out there, man. It's like
he did it on Christmas. He sent me the pictures at 11:30 at night on Christmas night. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting here having the shittiest Christmas I've ever had in my life. And this guy starts sending me pictures, and I see Papoose Lake. I'm like, thank you. Because I was here all alone. Peak. It was just very boring. Yeah, we're on a time delay, so.
These photos are incredible, man.
You must be in the first folder, right?
Yeah, I'm in the first folder.
Yeah, the best folder is the one at the he
All
has
the way
one
to
that
the
says
right.
edits, and yep, and that's got a picture. I can send you mine, which is labeled south north. It shows where S4 is, but you said you can't zoom in on them for some reason. I want you to be able to zoom right in on that hill and show everybody that hey, this is where he says the Papoose Lake is. Look, they got rid of all the trailers. Do you see that? All the trailers are gone where guys used to stay overnight. They built real nice dorm buildings for guys to spend the night at Area
Wow.
51. There's a nice payment incentive if you stay there during the week and don't fly there. On the Janet 515, Jeremy, go to picture 515. It's the second row down, third one in. Look how beautiful they are.
Yeah, that's the one.
0515.
Yeah, let's go and zoom.
Nah, that's not it. Yeah, I want you to show people S4. Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Remember
hill right
that little
there.
hill in the front right there. That's S4. Papoose Lake is to the right. Now remember, people, this has never been seen before. This is Papoose Lake from the north. We have never, ever seen this angle. Do you know how many people on YouTube have tried to say, oh my God, right here, I see little lines, must be the hangars. Now, that little hill right there, it's not a mountain. It's supposed to be where S4 is. I can show you where Bob Lazar claims that's it. We're at least hundreds of feet away from the dry lake bed. So this story and he had a big cement runway out in front of this place too that was about 30 to 40 feet wide by 400 or 500 feet long. Where's that at? Where's the hangars? We should be able to easily see it. I mean, are you zoomed in the whole way, Jerry, or not?
Yeah.
You can see the boot of Italy over there. Now here's the opposite. Yeah, that right there was the opposite. Yeah, that's the one I sent you. That would be looking at it from the south. That's the same hill. There's from looking at it from north to south. I just can't believe he got these incredible pictures. I think he used his iPhone and possibly I think he had even a zoom on that because he was pretty far out. But right there, see what I call the boot of Italy, that little boot that goes out. You can see it there too. It used to look just like the boot of Italy.
I like this one that's labeled.
Right out in the center of the dry lake bed.
It's good. You're looking,
yes,
looking
this is
south.
just fantastic. Yeah, that's the one I labeled. Yep, that's the one there. Can you zoom in on that? Yeah.
We spent
good. I thought you said you couldn't.
Yeah, no, we zoomed in on that.
Yeah, I saw this. A bunch of people looked at that and never even noticed it was Papoose. I'm like, that's Papoose from the north. Oh,
yeah,
it can't
you
be.
can
I'm
see
like,
those
yeah,
two little geographic features, you know, like on it. So this
the
is
boot
like
of Italy and that little circle. Yeah.
that boot of Italy.
Yeah,
right
there you go.
And that little thing.
And we can also show Bob Lazar from his original BobLazar.com and the tester's model that he had made. He shows that's the hill. That's it. But he claims it went right to the dry lake bed. We're hundreds of feet away from the dry lake bed. There's no very nice concrete pad out front. That one drawing he did, there's actually airplanes on the dry lake bed. There's so much on there that's just crap.
There's the saucers and the
George
hanger.
Adamski, he's another faker. Remember, we had George Adamski's model in our hands down at the Gray Barker collection. Right there you go. That's what we're supposed to see. See that? See the spot that's in front of the dry lake bed right there? That's a wide cement runway that's supposed to that's supposed to connect to the dry lake bed. You don't see any of that stuff. It's not there. And we can go back to the satellite pictures. Yeah, I wouldn't even bring Adamski up.
Well, this is key for where he got some of the information.
May have copied him.
So they got I want to play the clip.
That drawing right there. That drawing right there is John Farrat. John Farrat and Bob Lazar did drawings prior to the satellite images that they got from someone in Russia. How they were able to do that, I don't know. But at the fall of the Soviet Union, apparently you were able to buy anything. That's the original drawing Bob and them made before they got the satellite images of Papoose. Now, let me ask you something. That looks like a facility built into the side of a mountain now, doesn't it? look at that. I would expect something more like that too. Well, it all changed when they got the satellite images. See, John Farrat, that's Bob's best friend. He's the guy that did the hydrogen car video with Bob.
So we go to
Now,
the
after they
Wayback
get this-
Machine. I'm going to the Wayback Machine just to try to find some old Bob Lazar.
I have the original Bob Lazar. I have the original BobLazar.com. Can I send it to you privately?
Yeah, I want to bring that up because I'd like to show people.
Because I don't want anybody hacking it or.
I think they've
has
taken them all
everything
down
on it.
off the Wayback Machine, because you used to be able to go on the Internet Archive on Wayback Machine
Well, if you
and like
find it on the Wayback Machine, I'll be surprised because the Wayback Machine
They've
doesn't
scrubbed-
work. There's another one called archive.net, I think, that works better.
I'm on our web.archive.org. Here we go. So why don't we go back to like 2002 or so. This is a lot of high traffic in 2005.
It didn't come out till like 07. The original BobLazar.com. The one right now doesn't even resemble the.
Let's just go and look at a snapshot from February 10th, 2008 then. Okay, had some decent traffic around then. There's a lot of. All right, here we go. Let's do this one. August 13th.
I'll be surprised if it, I'll be honestly surprised if it all comes up. I mean, I've got one link that shows all of it.
Yeah, that one's not coming up.
Yeah, I know it won't. There's a reason why. So hold on a minute here. Hold on. God, I get so many links. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is.
Jesus goodness. Where is it?
Weird. So anyways, so John Lear was the guy that, had all of Adamski's stuff, all of Billy Meyer's stuff, the Billy Meyer UFO sex cult.
Man, we got to. Oh, here we go. That's the timeline.
And so all those pictures that he had of those craft were very similar to the craft that Bob Lazar says he saw in these,
The Adamski
hangers.
stuff with the three little. Yeah, and he faked though. That stuff's all fake.
He said some interesting stuff about, like the everything being perfectly engineered and everything being, woven into each other. You know what I mean? Some of that stuff I thought was somewhat interesting and could maybe, relate to nanotechnology, but he never described like, nanotechnology or any of the stuff that I've found through my research into like, the photonics and optical crystals. He talked about the element 115
Jeremy,
stuff.
I'm going to your Facebook Messenger. I'm going to send you this link privately because I don't want anything to happen to this. I've got copies of it, but I just don't want anything to happen to it. Here's Bob Lazar's original website.
All right, cool.
It's filled with gold. And they changed it because Ed and I use it to debunk Bob. And he did not like that at all.
I'm going to check that out.
So he took it down for like 5 years.
Ooh, this is good. Oh, this is good. Boom. All right, so the Theoretical Physics Archives. JFI, it's called. Okay, so gravity waves. I want to see this. Gravity propulsion. So what is element 150? Machined into triangles. This gravity A wave and gravity B wave, where he talks about, what regular physics, what regular physicists call gravity and the strong nuclear force, which is kind of interesting because, like, Frank Znardzik had that one theory that I liked where he talked about extending the strong nuclear force beyond the bounds of the atom to modify gravity. And, that was kind of like similar to what Bob Lazar, talked about in a kind of a weird, wacky way. But he never really connects it to element 115 and shows and explains what, the physics of element 115 and why element 115 is important. You read through some of Arbruster's papers that you can find. Let me bring one of Arbruster's papers up so that people can see what like a real this was Bob Lazar's, website on his physics website that he put out. And we're going to compare that to where's this? Let me find it. Arbruster. Where's Arbruster? Lazar will be in the 115 thing. So yeah, let's compare that to like the physics papers. You know, why didn't Bob like recreate his physics papers or publish his physics papers if he's this brilliant physicist? He could have, you know, shown diagrams like this. Or you know, references. There's only 4 references in here, and this is all their own. This is all these guys' own research. It's kind of weird. Normally, that's like a sign of pseudoscience. People say, if your references are few and only yourself, then it's a sign of pseudoscience. But, in any case, on the production of heavy elements, you know, and he talks about this. There's math equations. You know,
I just wanted to go over the facts. You know, I don't. You know, this the math equations and the physics and all that are great, but not everybody understands.
I know.
That. And Bob never produced anything.
He never produced any of that. So this
element 115 works, and it's just something he said.
This is weird too. Look at this. This drawing's interesting. Look at this. It's got gravity A wave that points down, and then this gravity B wave that's like bouncing back, and that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Omicron and Delta configuration, it's called.
Yeah, I know. It's stupid the way that he describes it. It doesn't make any sense. But have you ever heard of 4-wave mixing? Now, 4-wave mixing is an optical technology that Lightcraft International, that guy Leek Mirabeau, and Project Skyvault with the Skycraft. If you guys want to look up some of this stuff, there was some real research that went on into this, but it's nothing even remotely similar to this garbage. You know what I mean? This is like middle school, like a middle schooler put this website together. In any case, yeah, let's talk about us. So there's the oh, look at this. It's got the hangars and it draws it on on the map. What is this, Google?
If you click on some of those links and quit racing around so fast, there is great stuff on here. Yes, that's supposed to be, there's the bus, that black triangle coming there, or that black rectangle coming through there. Go up to image sessions.
I got to share my thing with you.
Go up there to image sessions. Click on image sessions. There's all kinds of stuff. Okay. Well, that's not what was supposed to come up.
Soviet Sujarta. This is where
image sessions should show all
these are the
kinds
Soviet
of stuff.
cameras and stuff. So this got the reactor.
Yep, come down. He literally got these. They literally got these. Keep coming down. Yeah, you can click on every one of these links.
He talks about antimatter, but it
shows a lot of stuff. He took this site down for 5 years. Why? If it was all accurate stuff, why did he take it down? Just saying.
Aliens, the beans. Look, and that's another stupid thing is like he's there the one trying to prove that they have aliens and their recovered alien spacecraft. Like, I don't know. All we have to prove is that.
Yep, he denies he said anything about an alien nowadays, but the stories never change.
Weird. Yeah, right. Now then he says it was that he never saw any aliens. And that it was just like
I think the story can be very easily debunked with several things. We have all the satellite images and the USGS images starting from 1952 on a Papoose Lake. They match the Google Earth drawings today. They match the absolute drawings. You can click on all those links too. Click on sketches once. They match all. There's the alien picture that he was shown supposedly. There's the lab. One day the doors are real wide between the hangars. The next day the doors are 30 inches wide. The drawings that he has match, and I mean the pictures he has match Google Earth today. There's been no change. There's been nothing. Oh yeah, come down to that one there. Come down where you see that big round spot where he claims the aliens flew off from. Right there, you see the big what I call runway in front. You're missing it in front of the hangars, man. There's a lot of important stuff there. Right there. See the big hangar? That's not the hangar entrance. Down there is it's like a big cement slab he claimed was there. See the entrance there in the side of the little hill? That was after he got the satellite image. John Farrat paid 10 grand allegedly for it through the Soviets. I just think it's awful strange they were able to get the Soviets to get satellite pictures of Papoose Lake and give it to them. But look over there, there's an airplane, flying through the air and getting ready to land. I mean, there's an airplane on the ground. There's a bus. There's all this stuff going on back then. Yet Jerry Freeman was able to go there in '97 and just walk all over the place. And
yeah, let's talk about the Jerry Freeman story. Where's the video to that?
You'll get a strike if you play that. I can guarantee you that. That Explore With Us, they don't play around. Their video was okay, but I think it was drug out a little bit. In my opinion, they could have got to the point much quicker, but they're all about the views, and they are getting a lot of views on Jerry Freeman.
Yeah, where's that video?
I like that.
It.
I like the one. I like the one picture of Jerry Freeman. You spelled his name wrong. It's Freeman. I like that picture of Jerry Freeman where Papoose Lake and S4 is directly behind his head. It's just.
So people want to look up this. There was an archaeologist who was looking for the lost 49ers, a trail of these,
the
wagon.
The lost 49ers. They were gold rush people, and the last known place they were before they all split up was Papoose Dry Lake. Jerry Freeman petitioned the Air Force to be able to go onto that land and try to find what were the 7 scrolls that they inscribed into everything. He had found the other 6 from illegal treks before. Jerry Freeman had a brother named Doyle. Jerry Freeman has a whole roll of film of Papoose Lake and the surrounding areas, and we only get to see 2 pictures of it. I'd love to see the rest of them. However, I think they don't even matter anymore because I think Gabe Zeifman's pictures and tons of credit to Gabe for flying over that area. He's done 3 flights over there so far, and the pictures he's shown devastate the Bob Lazar story, in my opinion.
Yeah,
there it is.
This
He's
is
snuck
the one.
Into Area 51. Jeremy, there it is. He snuck into Area 51.
Yeah, here's the video so people can go watch it. This has gotten 300,000 views since January 9th when it was just posted. So he covers the whole. I guess did he get access to the film canisters? Because apparently Jerry Freeman took a ton of photos of Papoose Lake and everything while he was out there. Have they ever gotten access?
His family has them.
His family still has them.
I know who has a copy of them. The guy that owns Dreamland Resort, he won't show them for some reason.
What?
Yeah.
Dreamland. Dreamland Resort.
Dude, if you even show anything from his website, I'm not even lying. He'll flag your video. He's the one that got that entire Area 51 site down on Facebook shut down.
Wow.
I'm not a fan of his.
All right,
he got that where I had the guard saying that there was nothing at Papoose Lake and it was called P1 and they used to light fireworks off there in the 80s. This guy here is a real prick when it comes to showing pictures.
You can't even download them off his site or nothing. So yeah,
he lives in Rachel and he lives like in a camper, and he's the one that met Jesse Ventura when Jesse Ventura went there. He literally had this entire wonderful Area 51 Facebook page I was a member of shut down, and there was a lot of former workers on there, guards, and they were pissed. And I had some really good testimony that's now gone forever because of that guy. So F your Garno if you're watching.
Yeah. You can go check out his
he's
site.
He's got like a long mullet and he's from Germany. You've seen him before.
Where the heck did that interview go?
For himself.
Where did the interview go with T.D. Barnes that guy did? I always have trouble finding this. You can never find this one. It's buried. The one where he's asked about Bob Lazar. So T.D. Barnes headed the.
I have it recorded.
I do too. I guess I could bring it.
Where
are
you at? Where are you at, T.D. Barnes?
I just want to show people
Barnes,
this is me searching directly for these things. And
don't put Bob Lazar's name in it because you'll never ever find it.
Yeah.
That'll bring up everything Bob Lazar. Don't even put interview in. Put T.D. Barnes' name in it. And the guy got all pissed off
called
because he
Truth Be
told the
Told.
truth about Bob being a liar. Remember, the guy was like stunned. He's like, what do you mean Bob Lazar was never there? And T.D. Barnes was there 37 years.
Yeah, he's the
like,
head
no,
security at the
story's
base.
all bull crap.
He's like, I know everyone who worked out there. You know.
All you need to do is put T.D. Barnes in, Jeremy.
No,
All the
it's
stuff
not
you're
true,
adding is
dude.
just going to.
I don't have Bob Lazar in there. It should be. It was on the Truth Be Told channel. He must have taken it down. Wasn't that
Of course, because it didn't say what he said. I don't remember it being that channel, but I don't know. Let me look myself.
Where's that guy? I thought it was Truth Be Told.
I have a recording of it. I could probably send it to you on your messenger and show it to everybody. Yeah, he took it down because it didn't comply with the Bob Lazar bullshit story. So
That's what happens to all the good information is people say, oh, this doesn't, it's making people angry and people aren't agreeing with this and it goes against the story.
Yeah, well, he didn't
and then
want
they take
people
it
being
down.
upset with him, so he took it down like a baby.
Yeah.
So hang on a minute here. Let me pull my file up and I'll send it to you.
I got it. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up. It's in my archive.
The guy's like so stunned when he says that's all a myth. We've been to Papoose Lake. And by the way, Papoose Lake's name, if you are Area 51, it's known as P1. That's the official name of Papoose Lake. It's not even called Papoose Lake. P1 is what they call it. Oh, that's weird. It won't even let me send it to you.
Yeah. No, it's all right. I got it here somewhere. It's in my archive. I know it is. I got all the mystery wire stuff. Let me play one of those while we're waiting.
George, basically what we're dealing with here is, I'll give you the bottom line.
Okay.
All right, let me bring this up. Hold up. Open with.
I think we're all over the place here. We should have did this a little bit structured.
George, basically what we're dealing with here is, I'll give you the bottom line.
Okay.
There.
I want to hear your thesis.
It's all right. We're just going over all the key evidence in the case, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is. I have it right here.
Is there any doubt that he worked at Area
recorded.
51?
I'm playing it right now.
He never worked there, huh?
The guy's name is Jim Breslow. The show's
Well,
called Hidden Truth.
he claims to have worked there in the
That's it,
late
Hidden Truth.
Was it late
Yeah,
70s or
that's
late 80s?
Late 80s.
Late 80s, yeah.
This guy's like,
Yeah, if you know how that works out there, of course, everybody commuted in there. Even the morning went to work, came back that night. I'd been to Cuban back. She didn't know it.
So I listened to a couple of Bob Lazar interviews, and I'm sure you're familiar with that name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So is there any doubt that he worked at Area 51?
No, he never worked there, huh?
No?
Yeah, so there it is, and people are calling this guy a liar and saying that he's a CIA asset and he's covering up the truth and he's part of the deep state and all this nonsense, which is interesting. He was talking, we're talking about this deep state and this secret government that holds all the secrets behind the scenes and is unreachable by FOIA, and I've been talking about Battelle for the last year, trying to inform people that Battelle did some very, very top-level scientific and intelligence research. It's a private company that's existed. This is like one of those places that I think people really should be looking for the truth. Really fascinating stuff, though. That this got me all into researching all this. I never would have found Battelle. I never would have found Edgar Mitchell or any. I think that. Anyways, let's get back to this. He never mentions this. I want him to hear. George Knapp, blah, blah, blah. What else do you want to cover with the Bob Lazar case, man? And then we'll take some. I want to take
all
Q&A.
over if you just show the satellite images from 52 on and show nothing's ever changed at Papoose Lake and show the newest images and that they match 100%. So how the hell could you have built a giant facility there housing 9 alien spaceships, each hangar being 40 foot wide, into that little hill, all these buses going back and forth, but no signs of a road.
I don't know.
This
I think
cement
that what
runway,
really
all this stuff, and I think it just ends it right there. I think it's that easy. It's new
No,
information.
it's not, because
is what I'm getting
they
at.
could have dug it underground and built tunnels like the
Oh,
Black Arrow or
bullshit.
something. You know,
Come on, man.
there could still be
Bob
camouflage.
shows it in the Bob shows it into the side of the hill. This whole story about it was
I know.
underground. Bob shows it into the side of the hill. He never says a word about it being underground. That's all made up by Corbell and Corbell.
Oh, by the way, Corbell
You know?
was told about this well in advance, and he ignored it completely, like a chicken he is. He would never. The interviews. Remember, they had the Q&A at their premiere of the Lazar thing, and they wouldn't let anyone ask questions. And Corbell was there yelling at people in the audience, telling them to sit down and shut up.
Nah. He actually made that retard Carrie Cassidy pissed off, which is pretty hard to do. She's such a UFO.
Hey,
she's
don't
such
say
a
those words.
UFO
That's
ass
not nice.
kiss.
But hey,
She's such a UFO butt kisser.
she thinks everyone's real, but no skepticism. As
Yeah, a
opposed to
guy
us,
that's
we're
doing
like,
life in prison is her main source because the aliens take him out and bring him back for count. And the reason why they know when count's going to happen is because they're psychically ahead 20 minutes, I think she said.
So when exactly did he work? So he claims this work period was just in December 1988, right? That's the only thing he's accounted for with the timeline about when he could have possibly worked there.
No. He supposedly went for an interview at the beginning of December of 1988.
Yeah.
Ends up working there the last week of Christmas, and Area 51 and all them places are completely shut down for 2 weeks. That's why Gabe Zeifman was able to fly over there on Christmas. There's no one at Area 51 except security for about 2 weeks. They just shut down. And most places do that in government. They have shutdown weeks. They have maintenance. They have to do all kinds of stuff, okay? Bob Lazar, to his own testimony, if he was even ever there, was only there 1 day a month. And that 1 day a month was January, 1 day in February, 1 day in March, 1 day in April. He claims himself that he was there 6 days or less. People think he was there 5 days a week at nighttime. No, to his own testimony, 1 day a month.
So, but he did work at Los Alamos. Let's talk about that. And his name.
Yeah, he was
in
a
the phone book.
technician there, and he installed a satellite dish. And his name is in this where they put the satellite dish, and he poured the cement and wrote Bob Lazar 1982 or whatever on it. Me and Victor were talking about that the other day and laughing.
Do you have a picture of that?
There's Victor right there. Victor's in the thing. See the guy by the name of Victor Corleo? He should be in here because that guy's done a shitload of research that I'm just too tired and don't care to do anymore. He knows everything. The guy in the outside chat. He's interviewed people. He's the man.
Oh yeah, Victor Colliero. This guy is an
Victor,
absolute
get
expert.
in here, man.
Victor, I want you to get on this live chat, man. I'm gonna post a
Well,
link.
he talked all Bob's coworkers. He's gotten it to places where people haven't.
Yeah, let me see if he will come on. I'm gonna message him on Facebook
What
right
I'm
now.
saying, we need new information instead of recycling old. But I'll just say this: the new S4 pictures are all I've got, and it debunks everything. Debunks it all. There's beautiful pictures of that place.
Guys,
And,
Victor actually worked out there, man. He just woke up. He's out in Australia. I just sent him a link. Hopefully we can get him on because he's got some insights on this that are absolutely great. I just want to, give credit to the people that dare to do research on this because you're going against, like it's a cult. It's like a cult that of believers that will attack anyone outside the cult and banish them from ever having a placeholder in the cult. But it's interesting because none of the stuff that Bob really talked about is it could kind of, if you were like a psychic reading, like a Nostradamus prediction and trying to like distort it any possible, or a Bible phrase to distort it, to fit your narrative. I guess you could say that it, Bob talked about all these things. We just, didn't know, didn't have enough information. It's like, No, the stuff that they're doing, Eric Davis even called it. Eric Davis is one of the physicists out there that did work on these programs. Everyone might be familiar with him from the whole Eric Davis
Yeah, he's
Wilson
actually got
leaks.
the degrees that Bob Lazar wishes he had. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually writes papers on this stuff and
He's a physicist.
He's a real physicist. He writes reports for the United States Air Force and the space, agencies.
He's one of the guys that Bob Bigelow had check Bob's scientific skills out at Zeta Reticuli and said the guy's got an 11th grade
All right,
science
so
education.
let's talk about that. Bob Bigelow is an aerospace billionaire from not Big Bam Bigelow, Bob Bigelow, Robert Bigelow. Okay, so Robert Bigelow is he runs Bigelow Aerospace out of New Mexico. It's one of the largest private aerospace companies in the U.S. And they were he actually was a prior owner of Skinwalker Ranch too. He used to own it. He used to own the Sherman Ranch and the Skinwalker Ranch too. He was really interested in paranormal activity. He funded Linda Moulton Howe's investigations into cattle mutilations. He's met with Stephen Greer and Lawrence Rockefeller at that other meeting way back in the day. So he's deeply immersed in this whole thing. In fact, he worked with Senator Reid, I guess, to get ATIP started, and then they blew ATIP up. He's kind of like the guy that's secretly behind, I believe, TTSA and all this stuff, because he's the guy that set these programs up in the government and then tried to use those to open them up to try to pry the lid off the secrecy of these other programs and stuff. And so he is kind of like a good guy, but he's done some bad things as well. But he won in 1991, after Bob Lazar came out, shortly after they came out, there was this Zeta Reticuli program, Zeta Reticuli 2. If you look it up, Bob Bigelow and Lazar signed a business contract, and we have copies of that. You can look this up. They signed Bob Bigelow was interested in reproducing the Lazar technology, and he hired, you can look this up on other places, but I have the business documents. If we can pull those up, I'd like to. But in any case, Dan, are you still there? Let me see if Victor's here too in the chat. Let me admit Victor, and he can unmute his mic when he's ready to speak.
Yeah, I'm here, but I muted myself.
Okay. No, I want to talk about that not 4-wave mixing. I wanted to talk about how Eric Davis was brought in and with Hal Puthoff and sent up to this Zeta Reticuli 2 program to analyze the physicist Bob Lazar, and how Eric Davis was brought in. And with Hal. Vic, can you mute your mic or put headphones on you can shut the sound off? I'm hearing some feedback on the video. Eric, there we go. We muted Victor. For now, I'm going to bring Victor on to discuss some of this stuff with us and let him take the floor for a little bit. But I wanted to wrap up that point on Zeta Reticuli 2, and maybe if Victor has anything to add that he knows about this. I know that they brought in these other physicists, including Eric Davis, and they gave Lazar a bunch of differential equations to solve. Just some simple ones that basic first level. Third level math major. Third-year math major, simple.
He had his friends in there.
He couldn't even do separation of
paying him big money, and Bigelow was paying him big money, and it was costing Bigelow over $2 million the whole thing, and that's where Bob got his fucking, excuse my language, the particle accelerator that was bought by Bigelow.
Yeah. All right. I can't even find any of this stuff searching for it.
It's not enough to make a piece of anything. As Bob says, you can't make element 115 using a particle accelerator. Yeah, well, you can't make the hydride.
Not the small one that he has. And you can't make enough hydride because you're making 1 atom per collision. You're going to need 10 to the 23rd atoms. And that's going to take you an awful lot of collisions and an awful long time to do anything with that. But if you go to my channel and you search for Lazar inconsistencies. I can't even find any of this stuff when I search for it on Google. It's all been wiped. It's all like been replaced. But this Lazar story with the real inconsistencies, and I gotta watch my own ads. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of clips of this stuff in this video. Maybe we could play a couple little parts of it. You know, we have John Lear talking about the alpha probes, talking about how he met Bob Lazar. We have Bob Lazar, you know, asking and claiming you can't make claims without evidence, and you know, a whole bunch of contradictory statements that have been made over the years. We have the what's it, the Honeysuckle Ranch and the pandering charge and all that mess. I don't know if you want to cover all this stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that we covered in that video as well. Maybe we could touch on, but I'd really like to talk to Victor, because the timeline, I think, is the best and most efficient way to research and make sense of this case, is drawing a timeline. And that gap in the timeline, between when he did work at Los Alamos, what he was doing there, it was like 1982 when he left there, right? And then it was 1988 that he was supposedly working out at, you know, S4 in Area 51. So there's like a 6-year time gap in between there of all those years, and also there's a little bit of history before leading up to his work at Los Alamos that, you know, we should maybe touch on and talk about. And I think Victor, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Victor. I'm in Australia. Can you hear me, by the way?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Actually, I haven't even got them.
I can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear, Victor.
You can hear us?
And
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm Victor, and it started lockdown. Well, the start of the year, basically. I started doing some research on Bob, because I was going to make a video on him, and just to while away the boredom, basically. So I spent full time, probably about 8 months of researching him. That's when I met Dan. Talked to Dan and spoke to Michael. Spoke to you know, all the old guys like Campbell and Mayhood. Spoke to Mayhood as well. They were quite helpful. So yeah, just been doing some research. Spoke to people that Bob actually really worked for, like for real, which opened, which a bit of an eye opener, which probably feeds into what you're talking about in terms of what he was doing prior to Los Alamos. He was working at Fairchild Zincom as a electronics test technician, basically testing the circuit boards. And his wife, his first wife, Carol, was actually working there as well in a different section in the rework area. I spoke to a person that worked there at the time, and this is 1981. Now, you've got to put things in perspective. In 1981, Bob was working in Fairchild Zincom as an electronics test technician, and he was still doing night course at Pierce Community College. That's basically what I was told by the person I spoke to, and he also gave me a contact of someone else that worked at the time, and he backed up everything that was said as well. So what was going on is that Bob was working there. He was a test technician. That's what he studied at Pierce Community College, was electronics, which is no surprise. If you ever do any research on Bob, you'll know that he did have some training in electronics. And when people say he's cluey and things, that's what they're referring to.
Sorry to cut you off. He did have some chemistry knowledge as well, because he was involved in that Desert Blast, and the United Nuclear started as like a way for him to get chemicals shipped to him for making explosives and stuff too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was friends with one of an Italian family that were well into fireworks, and they taught him how to do the fireworks stuff. So yeah, there's that as well. And if you see, I think in Corbell's documentary, in some of the scenes, you can actually see the firework tubes behind him. So it's no secret. I mean, he doesn't make a secret that he's into fireworks. So yeah, he's in Fairchild, 1981, still doing night courses at Pierce Community College. He's testing circuit boards there. His wife is there in the rework area. He's telling everyone about his jet car. I don't know if I told Dan this, but the guy I spoke to that worked with him he told me that at one point Bob brought his jet car in and was, he was boasting about it, going, "Oh, look at this and that." And they all got to see his jet car, so that's how everyone exists. So all of a sudden he's working at Fairchild and commented,